Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on transformations. When something undergoes a transformation, then some type of change usually occurs. In this video, we will look at three special transformations. They are the translation, rotation, and reflection. The special thing about these three transformations is that the size and shape of the original picture does not change. Translation. When a translation occurs with respect to a shape, a sliding motion takes place. The original shape moves in a straight line and ends up in a different position. So here's example one with the yellow star. There is the original shape in the original position. We slide it along, and this is the translated shape. So the only change is the position. Everything else is the same. Here's another example where the original shape, the translated shape, it can be translated in any direction whatsoever, as long as it's a straight line. Rotation. A rotation occurs when a shape is turned about a specific point. The point in question does not move, and the original shape is turned or rotated around it. Example 1. Here we see the letter F undergoing a rotation. Notice that the size and shape of the original letter are still the same. Can you see where the specific point is located? The letter turns around this point. So the original letter was this grey one. It is rotated around, and here we have where the letter ends up after the rotation. Now what about the specific point around which it is rotated? I think you can see that it is here. Okay, right there. See that? That's the point of rotation. Example 2. Here we have an original triangle, and we can rotate it in that direction, and it finishes there. So the point or the center of rotation does not have to be on any of these points here. It can be removed from the original shape. As long as it's rotated around, doesn't matter how many degrees you go, the center of rotation basically can be anywhere. Notice the shape is the same, so nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is the position. Reflection. A reflection occurs when a shape is flipped over. The rotation or flipping normally takes place over a line or plane. We have some examples on the next slide. Here's a shape here on the left-hand side. It's sort of like a rhombus, isn't it? Here's a mirror, or a line, depending on which way you look at it. And what you do, you pretend that this shape here is looking at itself in the mirror, and this is what it sees. Okay? So this here is the reflected rhombus. So there's the original one here, and that's what happens after it's been reflected. We can see the original shape on the left. The dotted line is like a mirror, and the original shape is reflected to the other side. Let's have a look at some examples in real life of those three transformations. The above is an example of a translation. We slide a lounge from one place to another in the lounge room. So how often have we done that? We don't want the lounge to be here, so we just move it in a particular direction, just in a straight line. That might be against a wall there, and you just want to move it to that position there. So that's a perfect example of a translation. The three hands of a wall clock rotate around the center. You can see the center here. So take any one of those hands, and it does rotate in time. The second hand rotates. The minute hand rotates. So that's a good example of rotation. The cat can see its reflection in the mirror. So this cat here is looking at itself in the mirror. So there's three good examples of those transformations in everyday life.